In this video we're going to be taking a look at the new and improved Phase 2 Clone Trooper for the Vintage Collection. This was an action figure I was kind of skeptical of at first. Mainly it has to do with the visor on the helmet. After seeing some side-by-side comparison shots of it, first I was thinking, I don't know, this might not be the definitive Clone Trooper still. However, after having it in hand and toying around with it for a little bit, it's a phenomenal action figure. I still think Hasbro could have done a better job with the visor, but this is indeed the next phase of the Clone Trooper sculpt. And stick around for the review as well, because I'll show a couple comparison shots with the previous Clone Trooper mold, and we'll see how it's held up over the years and what they look like side by side. So let's go ahead and take a look at this package here. So I never would have thought that Clone Troopers and Andor would have been associated with one another, but here we are. At first, when Hasbro announced they were going to be doing an all new tooled Phase 2 clone, I thought, oh, it would probably be on a Revenge of the Sith card. Turns out that's not the case. So that's an image of the Clone Trooper from the show. I actually haven't seen the Andor show up to this point, and I've heard lots of good things about it. I'm not sure what to think. Cassian Andor isn't exactly a character that I'm going to go out of my way to go see, but who knows? Maybe someday I'll sit down and watch it. So, Clone Trooper Phase 2 armor. VC 269. Pia and Hunter reviewed on the channel. Now Clone will be. Eventually I'll get the Star Killer, and I'll be getting Cal Kestis soon. So that's the package. Let's go and take a look at this figure. So as far as I can tell, this is 100% new tooling, minus the head sculpt underneath the helmet. Hasbro did a really good job with it. All the joints with it are fluid. Everything looks really good. It does seem to me this is kind of more of an off-white. He's definitely not shiny. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I think Hasbro could have done a little bit better job with the visor there. And I'll just go in and show you the previous sculpt. This is the Coruscant landing platform trooper. Unfortunately, we don't have just a plain white Phase 2 clone in this sculpt at all. So I figure the Coruscant platform trooper is the next closest one. And as you can see, I think that visor looks a little bit better on the previous sculpt compared to this one. Looks a little too thin on this new one. In some ways though, it's not that big of a deal. To me, it's one way to distinguish among the clones. The antenna mold has a little bit of a different look to it, and it's distinguishable, and then of course this one will from the previous mold. His belt and his legs. So in terms of the articulation, he is very well articulated. He has a barbell at his head there on a double joint, fluid range of motion there. Has a hinge at the shoulders, and this his shoulder armor here, you can get it to overlap on top of his torso there. So nice that you can do that, and even if you don't want to do that, it will go inside the armor there. Does have hinge at the elbow, and it goes a little past 90 degrees, which is nice. It does have hinged wrists. This one goes up and down, and this one goes in and out. His left one goes in and out. Great range at the torso. And he has hinged hips, and they're very fluid. And he has the swivel thigh. And thankfully, with a lot of these recent TVC action figures, one problem in the past with the swivel thigh is it just didn't want to move whenever you move the hips. It would all just go as one piece. And oftentimes they get stuck. It's not seeming to be the case anymore. So it's very nice that Hasbro did that. And he has hinge knees, which go about 90 degrees there. And then of course rocker ankles. So very nice articulation for him. In terms of weapons and accessories, as I mentioned, he does have a removable helmet. And he's using one of the newer Tamora Morrison clone head sculpts that we've been getting in the last few releases of clones. And it looks really good. Helmet is moderately soft plastic. It's not as soft and squishy as a lot of the previous ones were. It fits on his head pretty good. Still has a little bit of that chin problem like we used to get years ago. But it's not too bad. If you position a certain way, you can hide it. And also he comes with two DC-15 rifles, which I think are pretty much the same exact rifles we've been getting with clones over the years. No distinguishable paint on this one, it's just solid black. And of course we have the smaller rifle here, which is pretty much the same exact one we've been getting. Give you one last look at the clone here. I will say one thing, one problem that a lot of the newer action figures have been having with the rocker ankles is the hole in their foot is just simply non-existent and you're not able to put a stand on them. Fortunately for this figure and Piet that I reviewed previously, they do have a deep enough hole on their foot where you can put a stand if you want to. But at the same time, you don't really need stands with these because with the rocker ankles, and he has a large enough footprint on him where I don't have any standing issues with him at all. So that's a detail to watch out for. And do one more comparison here. You can see big difference between this one seems a lot skinnier compared to this one. And he is a little bit taller as well. Of course I have him on a stand, but even without the stand there, I still think he'd be just ever so slightly taller. But other than that, that's all I can really tell you about the Phase 2 clone. Would I recommend this for your collection? 100% I would. And it's nice that we finally got a plain white Phase 2 clone in the vintage collection. And I can't really tell you the last time we got one. Maybe it was during the Saga Legends days, back around 2011, 2010, 2009. The Legacy Collection days, early TVC days. And that was with the antenna mold. But as far as getting just a plain white Phase 2 clone And this mold, we never got one, unfortunately. So it's nice that we finally got one, and this is hopefully the start of a long series of more clone troopers that we're going to get. Of course, we have the 212th 4-pack that's coming very soon that's utilizing this mold, and I'm sure there will be plenty more here in the near future that we will be seeing. So who knows where we'll go with this. But this is an excellent start, and it's a welcome addition to my collection. So anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future. We'll be playing more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate your support. And check out the links in the description as well. And thanks for watching.